Overnight, a federal court slamming the brakes on President Trump's sweeping tariffs.
It's our declaration of economic independence.
The U.S. Court of International Trade ruling that the president does not have the authority to impose those steep tariffs on allies or adversaries. The court, in two separate cases, tossing out the tariffs the president imposed under a nearly 50-year-old emergency economic law that had never been invoked in a situation like this. The suits were filed by small businesses and a dozen states, arguing that President Trump violated the Constitution, which grants Congress, not the president, the authority to set tariffs. The administration already appealing, with a White House spokesperson arguing it is not for unelected judges to decide how to properly address a national emergency. The ruling injecting new uncertainty into the president's on-again, off-again tariffs, with many businesses complaining his chaotic approach has made it impossible to plan their purchases ahead.
Thank you very much.
Hours before the ruling, the president took issue with accusations he's backed down on his tariff threats. When asked about a new term reportedly used by some on Wall Street, taco, short for Trump always chickens out.
Oh, isn't that nice? Chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145%? When you ask a nasty question like that, it's called negotiation. You set a number. And if you go down, if I set a number at a ridiculous high number and I go down a little bit.
As the president battles the courts, one of his top allies, Elon Musk, confirms he's departing the administration, thanking President Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending while heading up the Department of Government Efficiency, coming just 2 days after Musk criticized President Trump's signature spending bill.
So, I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill.
Musk now faces a new challenge, trying to rehabilitate his image as a visionary entrepreneur after months of fierce political scrutiny. As for that court ruling overnight, the White House responded with a fury. One of the president's top advisors arguing it was an example of a, quote, judicial coup. But to be clear here, Craig, that 3-judge panel that stopped the president in his tracks is made up of judges appointed by Reagan, Obama, and one by President Trump himself. Craig.
All right. Our chief White House correspondent, Peter Alexander, there for us. Peter, thank you.
Now, this is a pretty bombshell ruling. We turn to Christine Romans, our business correspondent. We also need the lawyers. Unleash the lawyers. We have Laura Jarrett here as well to unpack the legal ramifications of this. But first, it seems like if you look at the futures, Wall Street business doing a little jig at the idea that Trump could be stopped in his tracks with this tariff policy.
Yeah, and the verb here is blocked, voided, canceled. That's what this judge did. These 3 judges did this ruling for those trade moves that had been so disruptive to Wall Street and to Main Street. Small businesses scrambling with these really high tariffs the president put on and then took off and then
That's
paused.
who sued here, along with some states.
Yep, some states and small businesses who said, the president did not have the authority to do this, and it was incredibly disruptive to their business. So in the very near term, it means they've got 10 days. The White House has 10 days to unroll this strategy and take these tariffs off. And so that should be relief for both investors, but also businesses who have been pausing their orders because they don't know exactly what they're going to pay for anything.
Christine, since this tariff uncertainty started a while back, there have been some savvy investors who have figured out how to make a few bucks off the back and forth.
Well, you heard that taco trade, and this infuriated the president yesterday. What it means is that when the president would put a very big tariff on, some traders would actually start buying stocks because the stock market would fall. They'd buy stocks on the bet that Trump would chicken out, that he'd back up and he would lower the tariffs again, and that was a big, quick way to make some money. That's happened 3, 4, 5 different times, and so there's this taco trade on Wall Street. The president really unhappy about that.
Well, somehow investors always seem to make the most of it, but meanwhile, Main Street is suffering under potentially higher prices. But let's go to the legal ramifications, because this doesn't end the uncertainty. First of all, they can appeal, so it could go to the Supreme Court, but this is a sweeping ruling.
It's really a fight about the president's authority and the president's power. Does the president have this type of sweeping authority to use his emergency powers in this way? Or really, is this a matter for Congress? If you take it back to Schoolhouse Rock, Congress makes the laws. The president enforces the laws. The court has says the president has gone way too far here, but he swiftly appealed. And so what should happen if a federal appeals court says, no, tariffs back on, right? Where does that leave the business owners? Just practically, how are they supposed to be gaming this out? And then what if the Federal Appeals Court puts a pause on it and then the Supreme Court undoes that? I think all the legal ramifications.
Well, none of that is usually a very quick process as well, which adds to this uncertain climate.
And he can use sort of other measures under the law to try to impose tariffs some other way, but all of those take time. They all involve various procedures, and so none of this gets done quickly, and it leaves the small businesses like the ones that sued sort of in the limbo of
Really
it all.
quickly, Laura, is there any sort of precedent for this?
No.
There's not.
No.
But
We are in an uncharted
the
waters.
steel and aluminum tariffs stay on. He could try to use the same authority he used for steel and aluminum tariffs and for the auto tariffs. He could try to turn around and use that national security statute. But again, it takes time and there's procedures for that.
And this federal trade court, I mean, this is a court of experts in the trade area. So
this is all they do, trade.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
By the
Laura,
way,
Christine.
this is a podcast I would listen to. I would listen to this podcast.
We like each other.
Thank you both.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.